Toto, I don't think we're in Florida anymore.
That's right, folks. I went to the defunct Wizard of Oz theme park, also known as the Land of Oz, on the beautiful Beech Mountain, North Carolina. And in case you haven't heard of this before, Autumns at Oz is a fall festival that runs on the weekends only, all through the month of September, in a defunct theme park that was originally launched in 1970, but had to close down a few years later. Originally designed to be a pure Wizard of Oz theme park, had unfortunately been run down, but has been picked back up, brushed off, and made into a weekend adventure for you and me to go through the telling of the Wizard of Oz. Editing Stephanie popping in here to say that I had visited this wonderful experience at the beginning of September 2024, and unfortunately a few weeks later, Hurricane Helene would come through and devastate most of this area of North Carolina. And so, I want to give you all a couple of resources that I have been using to donate to help the recovery process for this, unfortunately, very destroyed area. And now, thankfully, the park itself already noted that they weathered the storm quite well. However, obviously the surrounding areas did not. And while I will be linking several places down below where you can donate, because even now still in November, the area still needs help to recover from this devastating storm. If you're on Instagram, one of the places that I have been following to keep apprised of what's happening in the region is Discover Asheville NC. There are so many places to donate. I do advise that you go through and try and find one that speaks to your heart and donate there, because the area is still very much in need. And now, back to the review. As far as ticket prices go, there was exactly one ticket price for all ages. It is $60 a piece to go in, and that is just for the proper Wizard of Oz theme park. There are two other add-ons, one of which I did do, which was the Overlook, which is $6.50 each to climb up to the very tippity top where there's a lovely little platform where you can see a huge amounts of mountains in front of you. Now, while the ticket pricing is not too terrible, although I do wish there was a child's pricing, because I do not think my daughter had the same experience that her parents did. Mainly because she's a kid and she just gets shinied, like you do. So while that did bring my subtotal to $199.50, that is not what I ended up paying. Because not only were there taxes, processing fees, then we add on facility fees, handling fees, which is via email, so I'm not really sure why that's there, and a service fee. So while this isn't Ticketmaster, by God, it sure felt like it. So that meant that my total then came to $261.81 for 3 people for one Saturday ticket.
Wow. Okay. That seems like a lot.
Now the pricing on Saturdays and Sundays is the exact same, so it won't really matter which day you pick. As far as acquiring the tickets, it wasn't difficult.
Hey, got it.
But the amp up from the Land of Oz folks was that you needed to sign up for the newsletter so that you got the notification immediately so that you could buy them on launch day. Which I did, because all of the hype and all of the drive made it sound like these were going to sell out in a flash. So I bought them on opening day, and I opened up my computer, hopped in the happy little line right when it was opening, to a half-hour wait. Cool. So I was a little concerned then that maybe I wouldn't be able to get my day and time that I had wanted to do. Y'all, it was fine. I picked up the 10 a.m. slot on September 7th. Not a problem. So it makes me wonder if we really needed to be there at launch. Because, as far as communication goes, their communication was fantastic. Once I bought my tickets, there was a confirmation of purchase along with my receipt and all the tickets in one email. We love to see it. And then, I did not receive another email for over a month, which is perfect. You're not overbearing, you're not constantly communicating. And then from there on out, it was about one email a week, just kind of gently reminding me that if I wanted to add more tickets, this was almost sold out, etc., etc. Here's the thing. I purchased my tickets on Sunday, June 5th. I received an email on July 26th that Saturdays sold out. So, while I do think that if you want to have your primo choice be there and open type of ticket. Yes, you should be there when they launch them because that will just make you feel better. And hey, I'm an anxiety person. I was sitting there right along with you. It's understandable, but you don't really have to. You can wait a day or two and probably still get the time and day that you want to go. Now, I don't think you should wait too long because while they do tout this as a 2.5 hour experience, somewhere in that range, from the time we stepped out of our car at noon, we were not back in our car until 4:30 p.m. And that was with constantly walking, constantly doing the shows, waiting in lines, etc. So I do think you should be on the earlier end of the day so that you can get everything in without feeling rushed, because the last bus down from the park to the parking lots is at 6:30.
Only 2.5 hours after the last group is let in.
Now, let's also be clear, I was wearing heels for 4 hours, so I was not moving my fastest either. Now, as far as where you're staying for this, I opted to stay in Boone, North Carolina, because I wasn't really keen on the idea of staying in a ski lodge, even though that was the closest, and we would have just driven up there and just gotten a shuttle bus from the ski lodge up, as it was stated in the instructions. We opted to stay in Boone, one, because we have friends at Blue Ridge Tourist Court who we got to see and have breakfast with, and it just was better for us overall. Plus, it has really good food in town, so that was clearly the option for us. Now, driving through the mountains to get up there, whoo boy, that was exciting. The number of switchbacks that even made my husband, who is from Tennessee, even he was like, around some of these switchbacks. So just be aware that that is a thing, and you might want to just drive a little bit slower. But the upside is that all of the instructions to get there, between the email that I got and all the signs leading up to the parking, were so well done. Because even when my GPS dropped me off at where it thought I was supposed to be, we weren't there yet. We still had about 500 feet to go around the next corner. And because they were so good with their signage, I wasn't worried, because all I had to do was like, well, the GPS has failed me. Oh, look, there's a sign. We love that. So getting there was easy. Parking was relatively easy. We were actually parked on I think a bunny slope or something for one of the ski parks. It was a little bit of an angle. It was a little bit of a to-do to get up there because it was wet because it had just gotten done raining. But we were able to park, and parking's free. So we love that. Now, I just want to preface this when saying this was a park built in the 1970s and you are parking yourself at a ski lodge. ADA compliant she isn't. And that is clearly noted on their website. They do state that it is not ADA compliant because it just literally can't be. And also, while costumes are absolutely allowed, which we love that. Which, listen, I'm a Disney girl, so you can't do costumes in the park except for Mickey's Not So Scary. So being able to just walk into this park in a costume without being yelled at is excellent. However, don't be like me. Don't be like me, a person who never wears heels. And even though you bought a low, wide, beefy kitten heel because you're extra, yeah, don't do it. Buy the red sparkle tennis shoes. Don't do it. Oh, my calves. Oh, my calves. Yeah, no, my calves hurt so bad when I was done with that. Just know that going in, get the comfortable shoes. Don't be like me and try and wear heels for the aesthetic. And I did forget to mention how you get from the parking lot, which is down at the ski lodge, to the top of the mountain. The answer is school buses. Yes, friends. Honest to God, school buses.
I haven't been on a bus in years.
I had forgotten how much I don't fit in a school bus. My knees were, I was sitting with my body forward and my knees were 45 degrees to the right to my child because my legs do not fit. I mean, obviously, I'm not the only adult. There were multiple of us that were twisting and turning, trying to remember how to sit in a school bus. And then the switchbacks that I mentioned earlier, there were more of them and worse. So we did a lot of trust exercises. And here's the thing. I want to be very clear that all of this is just from my anxiety of these switchbacks. These bus drivers knew exactly what they were doing. Clearly not their first trip down the yellow brick road. They knew how to get us there quickly and safely. This is no shade to those bus drivers because they did a great job. So much so that when my child and I were headed back down the mountain, because unfortunately Mr. Canada was not feeling his best toward the end, so he actually dipped a little bit early, we got a second bus after we saw the final show. There was a bus that had broken down. It happens, right? This is not a small mountain. We are not mad about this. However, we were wondering how the heck we were going to get out because it was blocking the big curve. Our bus driver, who was a 30-year veteran bus driver in this county, backed out. There's a bus broken down in the way, so we're backing out of this. Again, to be clear, she knew exactly what she was doing. And there were people helping her out back. There was help. They were all on board team get the bus down the mountain. But to those of us on the bus, oh, buddy, that was a butt-clenching moment right there. Oh, okay. Just know that you have to have a certain of go with God about your final stint from the parking structure to the top of the mountain. So this park is sort of a half walking tour that tells you the history of the park and half show that walks you through the Wizard of Oz. And while personally, this brand of camp and immersive type of experience is absolutely my bag. If you're wondering if it's campy, yes, it absolutely is. The very first song that you even see in this musical section is Hooey! Wow.
Oh, nuts. I can't believe it. I really thought it'd work this time.
And while I thoroughly enjoyed it, because that's exactly what I wanted, I just wanted to go in, be immersed in Wizard of Oz, wander around, and follow the characters, right? Which is exactly what I got. Mr. Canada, on the other hand, he would rather have been able to pick and choose which shows to stop and see, as opposed to basically being forced to watch every single show along the way, which, that's just his priority. I disagree, because I think you need every show to go along with it so that the very end makes sense. And while I was expecting maybe more like 1970s camp, a lower quality of costume and everything to feel more true to the 1970s style of this park, as it originally was, that is not what I got. Let me tell you, I am particular about the quality of costume, makeup, wigs that I expect from shows. I am also aware that I am on a hilltop in the middle of North Carolina. So I had kind of taken down my quality that I was thinking I was going to get. I should not have. Honestly, the costumes were wonderful. The prosthetics on the lion, which is very easy to screw up, looked so good. The wigs looked good. Holy crap. These were so well done. And there are so many times that you are within arm's reach of these characters, so you can see all the details. And they're all there. And especially the Dorothy dress. Since I made one from a museum piece that I was able to have access to open so I could get a 360 feel for this.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not even closed, is it?
Oh my God. They did so good. The Dorothy costume was spectacular. Just bar none. The only difference that I could visually see is that they opted to do buttons up her back as opposed to snaps, which is what Judy had. Now, is there a blouse out there somewhere that was for the back shots that had buttons and maybe my dress that I saw was only for front shots? Maybe, but that's the only difference that I could see from the museum one that I had to the Dorothy that I was following. Also, I now want to know where they get their fabric from because it took me 7,000 years just to find the scrap vintage one that I could find. And they looked like they had plenty. And I'm like, where'd you get that? And listen, not only were the costumes really well detailed, also, so was the Twister house. So you go through the Gale house and you walk through and you see a bedroom and a sitting room, a kitchen, and it all has these lovely details. And then the Twister hits, right? So you got to do that. So you go down this lovely room. It's got a ramp the whole way. You're in black light. There is safety tape everywhere, and I love it. I kept going, ooh, nice use of glow tape. Ooh, look at that 1-inch yellow. Yes, I know I'm a nerd. That's what we do here. Once you're through the twister moment, you exit into the exact same house that has gone through a twister. And I was prepared to see some differences, you basically just remove all the detail from the front room so that way it's just oh, it just doesn't exist. No, the exact same photo frame that was on the mantle was on the floor, exact same photo. The picture of the great-grandmother was twisted and same bevel, same everything. The attention to detail is here and I love it. Whoever did the set dressing for that twister house, giant round of applause. Holy crap. So good. And then you exit out into the very beginning of the Munchkin Land. You get a little Wicked Witch of the West moment. You get to see the shoes on the Witch of the East under the thing. And the witch is accosting everyone who looks like Dorothy to see who has the shoes.
I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too.
We love to see it. And then you do have the option of starting to take the photo lines. So you've already done with your photo with Dorothy up in the very first section. So now you have an opportunity to get a photo with Glinda, which I will say her line was not only the longest, but also I get a little concerned about the actors that were doing this and their ability to take breaks. From what I can tell, when I exited the house, until the 75 minutes later, when I had walked through the line to get my photo with her, I don't think she had taken a drink of water or taken a break of any kind. Now, maybe she has a water bottle tucked in all of the flowers that were surrounding her, but I do get kind of concerned about these face characters that are there constantly being the character in front of guests all of the time. Are they getting proper breaks? That's my concern, because stage management had on this person at least every 90 minutes should be getting a 15-minute break to go cool their heels for a little bit. Now, I understand that that is a proper rehearsal space, not necessarily a performance. However, face characters at Disney also have time clocks so that they're switching out. I just get a little concerned for the performer's ability to not be completely worn down by the end of the day. You can take the stage manager out of the back of the theater, but you cannot take the stage manager out of my brain. I will constantly look for these things because I care about people. I care about the actors. I care about the performers. That's how I always was when I was a stage manager. I care about the performers. That was my job, along with many, many other things. But that was definitely a large chunk of my job. So I just hope that maybe I wasn't seeing it because I was in this huge snaking line. But I don't know, and I can't say on that. So Glinda's line felt definitely like a Disney character queue line. That was a long wait for Glinda. I will say that, but with much better views. Yeah, the queue line snakes through this section. It is tented over, so that way if it is raining, you only have to be in the rain for a little bit, and then you can be under this tented section and looking out onto nothing but glorious mountains. Oh, it was so pretty. So once you got done with Glinda, then you finally hit the Yellow Brick Road. Yes, that's right. There it is. Yellow Brick Road friends. Take all of the photos when you can. Because the one thing I did not do more of, and I regret, is I wish that in those moments where there was no one around, which honestly there's not much, but usually immediately after you meet a character, there's a little breath of no people. Stop and take the photos. Stop and take the video that you want. Because you will forget. You will forget. I did. I got some, but I didn't get enough. Now, I don't want to spoil too much, but just know it's a lot of walking. There's a lot of Yellow Brick Road. There's a lot of photo ops along the way. And I will say, after we did Dorothy and Glinda, we kind of took a step back from the photo ops. And we're just there to enjoy the songs and the telling of the tale as we went along.
Be slippers, and I'll be the most powerful in all of Oz.
The only one I wish I would have stayed for had I had more energy and my feet didn't hurt like a son of a monkey. See what I did there? I know it's a bad pun, just go with me. As I wish I would have done the Wicked Witch of the West. It's the only one I wish I would have actually stopped and done. But also her line looked to rival Glinda's, so I don't know about that. this is where the 2.5 hour time frame, I think if you're just walking it and doing the shows, yeah, definitely 2.5 hours. If you're taking the photos, you definitely need more time. You definitely need to sign up for an earlier slot in the day. So once we had gotten all of our lovely footage of songs and characters that we picked up along the way, we finally made it to the Emerald City. That is your last stop, because that has the big final gift shop. There's like some food vendors and craftspeople down along the other side, and the final show, which is a 20-minute show with a 10-minute photo op afterwards, where you actually get the opportunity to take a photo with the entire cast at once, which for me, much better bang for my buck. The lighting's better, everything's great, that's the one I want. I will say, the line for this show, as it goes, can get kind of long, but they also have enough staff to have one person seating people, one person at the door helping people go to seats as they fill up. So while it is not like a ticketed event that you don't have an assigned seat, these staff members are on top of making sure they get as many people in safely as possible per show. So I have to give it to them that the care that was taken in the costumes translated to the care that was taken by the staff and everyone else that was a part of this. Now, if you remember, I did mention the observation deck. The observation deck is an add-on that you can do, and I don't know if I would recommend that. First up, you have already walked through the entirety of the park at this point. So you have already gone up, down, sideways, boop, 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 boop. And for me, in heels already, that was a lot. But then you add 210 steps to an observation deck. And here's the thing. If when you got up there was some type of plaque that was like, oh, well, if you look past this mountain, that's Virginia. And oh, if you look past this mountain, that's Tennessee. There was none of that. There was one small hand-painted sign that was a little bit faded from 2022. That was it. That was it. Oh, and there was a rock.
It's a rock!
There was a rock in the middle of the deck, which is fine. That was it. That was what you paid $6.50 a person to hike up more stairs to take more photos. When I personally feel like the Judy Garland overlook, which is already a part of your tour, gets you about the same views. Just saying, you don't really need that part. And overall, I had such a good time. I had such a good time. I know I'm supposed to be like really super nitpicky with these reviews, and so people click it and watch the whole thing because there was some cluster thing. No, I had so much fun. I will say that if you are anywhere close, or if you just really love Wizard of Oz and want to try this, you should absolutely do this. My child had a great time. I had a great time. Mr. Canada had a decent time until he started to feel really bad because of food poisoning shenanigans. So like, not his fault. And the bonus of like, you get to dress up and everyone loved the fact that people dressed up. There was no like, bad person, no dress up. It was all, oh my gosh, I love your Dorothy. Oh, I love your Dorothy. Like there was Dorothys that abounded. It was excellent. There was also a whole bunch of like sparkly Glindas that were just like little kids in dresses with crowns. It was so cute. It was so good. You should definitely do this. It was so much fun. And it's like a whole day event. So we didn't even really need to do much afterwards other than eat. Oh my God, we needed to eat. Because with Mr. Canada going down the hill earlier, we were like, well, we're not going to eat without you up here, so I guess we'll go down the mountain. Which unfortunately meant that as we were driving down the mountain, we missed the final gift shop and museum. It just is what it is, unfortunately, because we were starving. We were just like, we need food like 2 hours ago, because we thought it was going to be a 2.5 hour thing, so we hadn't eaten lunch. We'd brought snacks, but oh my gosh. Bring snack food, bring whatever you need along for this journey, because it will take longer than the 2.5 hours unless you just don't want any photos with anybody. That was my experience at Land of Oz. And I do absolutely think that you should go and do it. The whole day, I just had a giant smile on my face. It was really well done, and it was enjoyable for everybody. And let me know if there's any other defunct theme parks that I need to go play around in, because I wouldn't have known about this had it not been for, I believe it was an Instagram post or something like that. So let me know down below. Are there any other that are near you that I should go to? And if you enjoy event reviews, I have a whole bunch right here in this playlist right here. And YouTube and its infinite wisdom thinks you'll like that one right there. Until next time, friends, sow in chaos. Bye. Because I looked cute, but ow.